turbulence hits or when you're flying through a storm and you're like, I'm so glad I saw the guy with the right stuff and the square jaw get into the cockpit before we took off. And I feel better now thinking
No, I mean,
about
like,
that.
you want to go thought crime? Like, I'm sorry. If I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified.
That is Charlie Kirk. If you're unfamiliar, he's a far-right extremist nutcase who seemingly is just looking for a reason to hate black people. If you're unfamiliar with, like, the thread that brought him where he is right now, let me just tell you what happened, okay? There was a door plug on a 737. It's a Boeing plane, or a big plane. It was a commercial plane that had passengers and everything. Well, the door plug had some loose bolts and it basically flew off mid-flight. And apparently, like, nobody died. Everybody's buckled in and safe, luckily. Oxygen masks fall from the ceiling. Lights are flickering. Everything is a complete mess. People's phones fly out of their hand. One kid sitting near the door that flew off, his shirt ripped clean off his body, flew right out the door. It was crazy. And it was a big thing. And not long after that happened, that event, this article on the Babylon Bee appears. Boeing CEO assures nervous flyers that all 737 aircraft are built to the highest diversity standards. Now, what was really to blame for this event? I'll tell you. Poor maintenance requirements, cost-cutting techniques, not running planes through multiple levels of security checks and maintenance, making sure that they're all safe and clean and the bolts are tightened and all of the other stuff. That's really what's to blame. They were cutting costs by avoiding extra maintenance steps or extra security stuff or whatever. That's what caused this. But the Babylon Bee and the far right in general, including Elon Musk, claimed that it was because there was diversity in the company. There's a DEI program, diversity, equity, and inclusion. The claim is they're hiring black people, and black people are inherently inferior to white people. If you see a black pilot, you should be worried because he is not qualified to work there. That's the meme, the idea they're trying to pass off. They've found their, when I say they, I'm talking about Charlie Kirk, Elon Musk, people at the Babylon Bee, and the people that read the Babylon Bee. They have found their reason to be racist. They were looking for a reason. Here it is.
And I feel better now thinking about that.
No, I mean, like, you want to go thought crime? Like, I'm sorry. If I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified.
Because black pilots are almost certainly only there because they were forced to hire the black pilots. It's absurd. It is an excuse for racism. Nothing more. Quick interjection, this won't take long. If you like what I do, I'd appreciate it if you watch the video to the end. YouTube bases video reach off of watch time, so watching even an extra minute makes the video go further. Liking and subscribing goes a long way too. Finally, it would be awesome if you guys checked out my Patreon. All links are in the description, of course. Okay, back to the video. On screen here, we have Wendy Rogers. She is a state House of Representatives member, I believe, for Arizona. She's close friends with Charlie Kirk. She's actually been on Charlie Kirk's program plenty of times. And she is close friends with Nick Fuentes. She has supported Nick Fuentes. She's shown up to Nick Fuentes' to his conferences. If you don't know who Nick Fuentes is, he's a Nazi. He's a full-blown Nazi. He likes Hitler. He thinks Hitler did a good job and did not go far enough. He's disappointed that Hitler died because he wanted Hitler's goals to come to fruition. Wendy Rogers likes Nick Fuentes and has shown up to his conferences. So I want to put this in context. Oh, and she's close friends with Charlie Kirk. Weird little connection there. Listen to what she had to say on this DEI thing.
As someone who's actively aviating in our skies.
Actively aviating? Well, it don't look like you're actively aviating. It seems like you're actively sitting at a table right now.
I am very troubled by the DEI influences in the airlines.
She's troubled by the fact that there's somebody that's not white working for companies?
And even though it's purportedly incentivized to implement DEI and supposedly helps a company financially, it compromises public safety.
It compromises public safety to have black pilots. What? How? What is she talking about? You know, this sounds like she was looking for a reason to be racist, and she found one. Look, there is a disparity between the black community's level of education and wealth, generational wealth, and the white community's generational wealth and education. Now, that can be the result of one of two things. Either it's genetic or it's cultural. If it's genetic, you're a Nazi. If it's genetic, if black people have less generational wealth and less education for genetic reasons, you just believe that they're physically inferior to white people and can never match up to white people. They can never meet that bar, no matter what. They're just inferior. If you believe that, you're a Nazi. Nazis believed the same things about Jews. If it's not genetic, it's cultural, we can fix it. You know how we fix it? Rise people up out of poverty. Give them more opportunities at education. If they go through the educational process and they become qualified to work as a pilot or to work as a whatever, they are just as good as white people, just as good as everybody else. If it's cultural, it can be fixed, and we should be pushing programs to make people more equal, make things more fair. But when all you know is privilege, equality feels like oppression, of course. So which one is it with Wendy Rogers? Does she think that it's genetic? Black people are just inferior to white people inherently, genetically? Or do you think that she recognizes that there's a cultural imbalance? The only way that Charlie Kirk or Wendy Rogers or any of these other people could possibly live in fear that there's a black pilot, the only way they could justify that is by believing that it's genetic, that there's some inherent inferiority about black people. So go on, Wendy. Tell me about how you feel about the black community.
I'm very troubled by the DEI influences in the airlines.
Troubled by the fact that airlines are including black people in their crew.
And even though it's purportedly incentivized to implement DEI and supposedly helps a company financially,
it's not that it helps a company financially. It helps a company. Diversity makes things stronger. Any system benefits from diversity. People from all backgrounds come with different perspectives and ideas and feelings and opinions and thoughts. When you bring people from different backgrounds together, they come up with incredible ideas. Just imagine bringing a chemist and a physicist and a mathematician together in a room. They come up with absolutely incredible things that a chemist could not personally alone come up with. When you have people who are white and black and Native American and hell, Russian and Irish and Chinese and Japanese and everybody, when you have people from all different diverse backgrounds come into a room and try to figure things out together, they come with new perspectives and ideas. The only way this works in Wendy Rogers' head, the only way that her opinion makes any sense, is if white people are superior to everybody else. It should only be white people in this equation, apparently. Quick note before we continue, I'm writing a book about my experiences inside the religion of Jehovah's Witnesses. I cover the culture and doctrine. It's understandable even if you know literally nothing about the religion, so I'd appreciate it if you gave it a read. To find out more, go to owenmorgan.com/book. All links are in the description, of course. Okay, back to the video.
it compromises public safety.
It's also misguided, I think, too.
So, with that, safety should triumph over financially incentivizing a company. And with that, I vote aye.
Absolutely disgusting. I guess that's our sign, isn't it? She believes that it's genetic, apparently. I mean, this DEI thing has not stopped there. Like I said, I tracked this down, and I talked about it in another video not too long ago, but I tracked it down to one of two people. This is where it started. Either the Babylon Bee or Elon Musk's tweet. They both released on the same day. I'm leaning the Babylon Bee probably started it, and Elon Musk most likely saw the Bee article and repeated it. That's my guess, because Musk posted around 2 p.m., 2:30 p.m. There's no timestamp on the Babylon Bee article. But it says, amid growing concerns over safety after several devastating mechanical failures on Boeing 737-9 MAX aircraft, Boeing CEO Dave Calhoun assured hesitant travelers that all their aircraft are built according to the highest standards of diversity. Of course, it's fake. It's a lie. It's a joke website. It's satire. It's not real. But people don't seem to realize that. As I talked about in the other video where I brought this article up, this is posted on Reddit on r/conservative, and there were 3 types of comments on there. The first comment that I saw, the first type was, wow, the bee really got him this time. Savage. Yeah. Those people recognized that this was satire. It was a joke. The second subset of comments that I saw was, people think this is satire, but it's really happening. It's not, but that's what they believe, apparently. So they see this Babylon Bee article, this satire article, and they believe that it's actually happening, and they're satirizing real life. The third subset of comment that I saw on the subreddit post was, this is just wrong. These people want to kill us all, or something to that effect. Buying into it. They believed that this was real. That is where this whole DEI fear-mongering campaign came from. And now we have Floyd Brown, campaign chairman for Kari Lake, on national TV talking about DEI.
I've been grieved since Barack Obama became president. We've actually gone backwards in race relations, and he's created so much division. And these DEI.
Yeah, it was Obama that caused division. Totally. Absolutely.
And he's created so much division. And these DEI programs just really, they're negative for everybody, including Black Americans. Because, Ben Carson was one of the great all-time surgeons. And yet.
Was one of the great all-time surgeons? Ben Carson was a good surgeon, yes. But he's famous for having separated conjoined twins, I believe. But it turns out that he was one of like 70 doctors on that team. He wasn't the only one. Amazing. I mean, I don't want to downplay his accomplishments. I just want to point out that he wasn't the only one doing the job. But sure, okay, yeah, he's a good surgeon. Great. Go on.
One of the great all-time surgeons. And yet now, because of DEI, when you see a Black surgeon, you get a question in your mind.
Who does? Me? Are you saying me? I do? No, I don't. Are you getting a question in your mind when you see a Black surgeon? Have you ever asked yourself why you get questions in your mind about Black surgeons, Black police officers, Black, I don't know what, Black airline pilots, Black whatevers? Have you ever asked yourself why that is? Do you think maybe there's something down deeper in you? Why do you think Black people are inferior to white people?
You get a question in your mind. And what you want is you want the Blacks that are on top, that do succeed, to be there on their merit, because they absolutely have as much merit as anybody else.
Brother, they are. They are there because they have merit. Diversity, equity, and inclusion programs are intended to bring in people who have just as many qualifications as everybody else. They want to make sure that they're not completely white employees, because there are plenty of qualified Black employees too. That's what the DEI program is for. Bring in a diversity of thought and background, as long as they're qualified. On job postings, there are requirements. If you want to be an airline pilot, no matter what, you must have certain number of flight hours logged. Oh, I don't know. What are the requirements? Okay, look, this is on Indeed.com, okay? This Indeed article tells us what the requirements are to be an airline pilot. Earn an FAA-approved bachelor's degree. Most major airline companies require a bachelor's degree in aviation or a related field when applying for jobs as an airline pilot. If you can follow an airline pilot career path, the most common step students take is to go to an FAA-authorized institution where you will take aviation-related coursework. Number 2, obtain a private pilot license. 3, acquire an instrument rating. Flying for an airline requires reading and using instruments. Once you earn a basic pilot certificate, you'll need to train to use sophisticated instruments that guide a plane through different weather conditions and altitudes. Number 4, obtain a commercial pilot license. 5, get a flight instructor certificate. 6, add a multi-engine rating. 7, gain experience in flight hours. Yeah, you need 1,500 flight hours, I believe. Earn an airline transport pilot certification. Interview for a position as an airline pilot. All this stuff is required to be an airline pilot. If you notice, there isn't a if you're black section. This is just how to be an airline pilot. There is no how you become a surgeon if you're black section of an application process. They don't even ask you your skin color. All this nonsense about they're not there on their merit. No, they are there on their merit. They must have qualifications. They must. It's just they want to bring in a diversity of people. Maybe make their company representative of society. About 15% of society is black. So maybe we have 15% of the company be black. Honestly, it's not even that. In most companies that have DEI programs, it's still only like 5% black at most in some cases. But totally, yeah, there's a separate application process apparently for black people. Question 1, are you black? Question 2, can you read? If you answered yes to both of those, you're hired. Welcome aboard, you're our new airline pilot. This is a joke. These people have found their cover to be racist. They were looking for a reason and they found it.
That are on top, that do succeed to be there on their merit because they absolutely have as much merit as anybody else.
As if that's a completely different situation. As if that's not how it goes right now. These people are shameless. Floyd Brown is terrible in more ways than that, though. Like, DEI doesn't even begin to touch the problems with this guy. He was on Flashpoint. I don't even remember when was this one? Yeah, it was late January 2024 when he was on Flashpoint. So just a few minutes before the clip that we just watched, listen to what else he had to say on Flashpoint.
Floyd, full disclosure here, you're not just the founder of Western Journal, you're also Kari Lake's manager, campaign manager. That's correct? I get that right?
Well, my title is campaign chairman.
That's what I said, campaign chairman.
No, it's not. You said campaign manager. Why do people do this? This guy just drives me nuts. I don't even know what to say about him. That's polite.
Yeah, and I'm very active in the campaign and very close to both her and her husband, and they're just wonderful people. And I really felt led of the Holy Spirit to be involved in her campaign as part of my worship in 2024.
Wow, as part of his worship, he decided to get involved in the MAGA movement on Kari Lake's behalf. When I hear stuff like that, it just blows me away, man. He is saying that the MAGA movement is his religion. God told him through prayer that he needs to be involved in helping Donald Trump and his allies. That is psychotic. What is wrong with these people? Something deeply broken here. By the way, I would love to see this guy's qualifications. How did he get into his position as campaign chair? Anyway, these people are just grotesque. This is absolutely wrong. Tell me what you think about it in the comments. They're shameless.